The Empire's on the
We're going to
run.
talk about
Alex Jones and the
Stop and
GCN
Seize.
Radio Network.
Aggressive police take hundreds of millions of dollars from motorists not charged with crimes. I began to get into iodine a few years ago because it was helping me and my family so much get healthy and detoxify. Most people know that iodine deficiency has been a crisis around the world. Iodine is key to so many of the body's functions, especially the thyroid. I discovered a product being developed by Dr. Group. You now know it as Survival Shield True Nascent Iodine that your body can really absorb. Then, about a year ago, he said, listen, if you think this is powerful, I'm going to come out with rare earth, deep earth crystals. And the results that I personally have had have been life-changing. Nobody else has got iodine based on these pure crystals, ladies and gentlemen. This is innovating, and the best part is it helps fund Infowars.com, the radio show, the TV show, the whole media operation promoting true libertarian ideas. For a limited time, experience the ancient power of Survival Shield X2. Take advantage of this unprecedented 30% off super detox special at InfoWarsLife.com.
Open your eyes. It's time to give your eyes a powerful nutritional boost. Sight is the primary input to the brain, arguably making eyesight the most important sense we have. And just like the other important organs in our bodies, our eyes function at peak levels when they are fed the proper amounts of essential nutrition. Open your eyes. Combining key ingredients like vitamin A, zinc, lutein, proprietary saffron bulb extracts, and more, OcuPower by InfoWars Life is a new formulation specifically designed to nutritionally assist the natural function of healthy eyes. Optimize the natural power of your eyes with the latest addition to the super high-quality InfoWars Life formulations, OcuPower. Go to InfoWarsLife.com or InfoWarsStore.com to order OcuPower or call 1-888-253-3139. OcuPower. Open your eyes.
The government's Department of Homeland Security is buying up loads of ammo. At the same time, they're restricting civilians' rights to own and purchase firearms. Can you put two and two together? Infidel Body Armor can stop every round, including hollow points and .308 sniper rounds, is reasonably priced and fully legal. But for how long? Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com, spelled INFIDEL bodyarmor.com. Infidel Body Armor. Just won't quit.
I'm David Hall, founder of Diamond Gusset, where we are proud of our 100% grown and sewn American-made jeans. Whether you're out for dinner, working on the farm, or on the road, Diamond Gusset Jeans offers a full spectrum of style and sizes for any occasion. Our loyal customers enable us to continue sponsoring Liberty Media outlets. Use promo code FREEDOM to receive a 15% discount at Gusset.com. In Liberty, David Hall, Diamond Gusset Jean Company.
Listening to an Infowars.com frontline report. It's Alex Jones.
I want to get a little bit more into war with Lew Rockwell, then some other issues, and then we're going to go to your phone calls. I also want to talk to him about his new book that's coming out. I definitely want to read it. I've read some of his other works that are excellent. But before we go any further, both of my grandfathers were in World War II, as a lot of people's grandparents were, great-grandparents. Most of that generation's gone now. And Hitler was obviously a bad guy. He was attacking people. He was going to try to take over the world. The problem is, it's just like is happening now. It's historical fact that the robber barons, there's New York Times best-selling, Pulitzer Prize-winning books, Shearer's Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, IBM and the Holocaust, I mean, it goes on and on, that U.S. and British companies literally helped put him in power, promote his eugenics ideology. He was in Time magazine. He was in gardening magazines. I'm making a documentary about it. We've actually sent off and bought the original magazines on store shelves. My grandfather, growing up in Dallas, my mom's dad, remembers they would play Hitler speeches on the big radio stations. WBAP, you name it, and translate it into English like it was wonderful. It's a big German community up there. My grandfather's German, was German. I mean, an American, been here for a long time, but German roots. And his dad could speak German and didn't have to hear the translation. I mean, Adolf Hitler was on the radio in America as a rock star. Folks don't know that because people don't know their history. So it's the same thing. Create al-Qaeda, fund them, sponsor them, give them weapons. It's an AFP today that our government and the Saudis armed them with anti-tank missiles, M16s, made in USA is the headline from AFP. So I get Rand Paul saying, yeah, they're running all over the Middle East, killing everybody. We need to stop them. But it's the oxymoron. Our government turned them loose to kill hundreds of thousands in Syria. Now they've run back over. They are, of all the unsavory killers out there, some of the most nasty. And so I want to stop them, but it doesn't matter. It's always turned to evil. So the same thing. Should we have then fought Hitler? I understand that we helped create him, then knock him down. It's the same thing here, but here we know it's premeditated. So how do you deal with that being anti-war when, okay, we created ISIS, but at the same time, I don't think Obama even wants to bomb them. I think public pressure, because we now know what ISIS is doing, and then so you got the arms dealers are happy to do it. I mean, it's a complex issue. I understand your moral stance, but how do you tackle the World War II argument?
Well, you know, first of all, when you talk about somebody running around the world killing people, how about the U.S. government?
I agree.
You know, the U.S. government killed probably 1 million people in Iraq since they went to war against Iraq. They make ISIS look like the Girl Scouts. So, you know, that the U.S. government has killed millions and millions of people in its career of killing and depredation. Hitler, of course, was a monster. So then Roosevelt had us hook up with his pal Stalin, who was every bit as much of a monster, probably killed more people than Hitler killed. How many did he kill in Ukraine, right? This still has effects today. 8, 10, 12 million people, we don't know, but it was a horrific massacre in Ukraine that Stalin pulled out. The Exim Bank is in the news right now. The Export-Import Bank was founded by Franklin Roosevelt when he became president in 1933, specifically to fund trade and to boost the Soviet Union. That's go back and read Wikipedia or whatever. This was the purpose of the Exim Bank. So Roosevelt saw World War II as the war to make the world safe for communism. So they were both. So the U.S. hooked up with one monster to fight another monster. No, I had a brother who was killed in World War II, and of course, many Americans died in World War II. And you know, I think there were ways to avoid that, as well as ways to avoid the other wars. I don't think war.
Well, yes, it's just like World War I
is ever. No, and of course, World War II was part 2 of World War I.
Yeah.
This was one long war, and what the U.S. helped do to the German people had very bad effects later on. The rise of Hitler to power, among other things, because of the starvation blockade that Britain and the U.S. Put on Germany, kept on long after, by the way, the war was over. Another 600,000 German civilians killed in the hunger blockade, trying to force them to accept the Treaty of Versailles, which was a disaster in Europe. It was a disaster in the Middle East. This is what, that's where we get Iraq and Syria and all these countries were created as a result of the. That's
why it's great that you're such a historian, not just an economist and writer, because you know this. The establishment knows this. The public doesn't know it, that World War I came into World War II and then started everything after that. And you're right. It just never turns out good in the end.
We can't trust them, Alex. We can't trust the government. So there's always war propaganda. Ooh, the Russians are going to get us. The Southerners are going to get us. The Spanish were going to get us. The Mexicans were going to, there's always some bad guy over the next hill that you're going to give all power and devotion to the government so they can go and kill people. Well, there's something wrong with that. If we just think of the basic libertarian principle, the basic, that it's never morally acceptable to use violence or the threat of violence against the innocent. If you can always use it in self-defense, but you can't attack people. And again, in war, the vast majority of the people who were killed are innocent people. And also, again, we always have to remember, people associated with the government are making vast sums of money off war. That's
well, Lou, 2 weeks ago, they tried
vast sums of money.
Yeah. 2 weeks ago, they tried to float the idea that if we'd have taken out Assad, ISIS wouldn't have this foothold. We need to take Assad out. Now, nobody bought that, so they backed off. But
a pro-Christian ruler, by the way, Assad. You know, there have been Christian communities in Iraq and Syria since the time of the apostles, and they've been successful there under the Ottoman Empire, under all kinds of invasions. They never were harmed. Now they've all been destroyed ever since the U.S. invaded Iraq, and now it's making war on Syria. So, you know, again, what they're just all you can think, folks, is assume the government is always lying to you. Maybe you don't know what the truth is. You have to do a little investigation to see the truth.
Let me ask you that question.
They're all a bunch of liars.
Let me ask you a question. Why? And the UN even admits this, that persecution of Christians is up everywhere, peaceful ones. Why is the U.S. government, in every case I've seen, on the side of radicals to kill Christians? Our government will bend over backwards, especially under Obama, to exterminate Christian minorities. What is going on?
Well, the U.S. government, of course, hates Christianity. The government hates the idea that people are loyal to and feel themselves responsible to an entity that is God above the government. You know, they look back, I think all governments look back on, say, the ancient Egyptians, as that was the great thing, when the government actually was God. That's the way they'd like us to feel today. They're jealous of religion. They want to take over religion. And they, you know, so no, they don't mind killing Christians. They don't mind killing Muslims. Muslims have a right to life too, by the way. It's not just Christians. Buddhists, Hindus, everybody has a right to life, no matter Jewish people. Whatever their religion, they have a right to life. They have a right not to be murdered. But the U.S. government is Murder Incorporated. It kills people all over the world. Again,
sure,
vast amounts of money being made out of this. You can't believe anything they say. So when they have this new bogeyman, ISIS, you can just pretty much ignore what they have to say. You can certainly hope, pray that bad things don't happen to people in Iraq. But the U.S. government has murdered so many people in Iraq. We're really supposed to trust the U.S.? Certainly the Iraqis don't trust the U.S.
Well, that's my point, is that it's just the oxymoron. It makes my head hurt when I think about it. The paradox, our government helped create and fund these monsters to do in Syria what they're doing in Iraq, and then now we're supposed to go bomb them, but that'll be fake. They'll probably end up bombing Assad or something. It's just such...
Well, they are going to, of course, they are going to attempt to overthrow Assad. That's absolutely true. You know, they're you can't... Let's mind our own business. Who put the U.S. government in charge of the world? They're not God, even though they think they're God.
Well, that brings me to Ukraine.
Business what's going on in other countries. Why don't they get rid of the crime in Washington, D.C.? How about stopping the militarized cops in Ferguson and all the rest of America? I noticed that some of the supplies now going to the militarized cops include bayonets. So that'll be nice. They'll be out there with a bayonet to stab you. And we're supposed to think, of course, that's much better. That's law enforcement, unlike those horrible guys, ISIS, with their knives. So concentrate on what's happening to us here at home. Stop attacking people in other countries. Mind our own business. It's quite enough to mind our own business. We know that as individuals, to try to raise our families and have a job, support ourselves, not be a burden on others, take care of our retirements, support our churches, support our communities, mow the lawn.
What do you think of Rand Paul's statement? I mean, obviously some of that's politics, but at the same time, it's pretty easy to say you want to bomb ISIS. They are unsavory, but I get your point. It'll only turn into something worse and more evil. It's just sick.
No, I don't think bombing people is a good thing. I don't. It's murder. It's bloody mass murder. It's not, you know. Would Christ want to bomb people? I mean, why don't we ask that question? We're talking about Christians. Well, you know, that's not the nonviolent way of Jesus Christ. Why don't we try to follow that? Why is killing people always supposed to be the answer to problems? Throughout human history, haven't we learned that killing people is not the answer to problems? And the idea we should just be creating more hatred, and they're right to hate us if we're bombing their homes, bombing their businesses, killing
Speaking
their
of
children,
war,
killing their parents. They don't like it.
Sure, Lou Rockwell is our guest, Alex Jones here. In the time we've got left, I want to spend some time on your new book, but also What about Ukraine? I mean, that's so obvious. People call me a Russian sympathizer or a traitor because I don't want to have a nuclear war with Russia. Russia's going to a first strike doctrine to